Senator Greg Tarver is here for a little bit. Hey, Mr. Greg, welcome back to KEEL. How are you this morning?
Fine. How you all doing?
Excellent, thank you, sir. There's a little bit of a discrepancy we want you to help us straighten out, and it has to do with the non-appointment of Carolyn Prator to the Red River Waterway Commission. And more specifically, you say that there was a conversation between you and Governor John Bel Edwards about why Ms. Prator was not appointed to that position.
How did that conversation go?
Well, let me say this to you. What the governor said to me, I repeated to the press. My story is not going to change. Whatever the governor speaker says, or whoever say whatever they want to say, I had a conversation with him. I did not have a conversation with anyone else.
What did he tell you?
And I told Sheriff Prator exactly what he said. That is my story. It's not going to change.
What did he tell you?
Beg pardon?
What did the governor tell you?
I said that he's not going to appoint Mrs. Prator because of the disagreement and what the sheriff said about him. That is my story, and that is the end of the story. I'm not going to continue to deal with this situation because the governor is wrong. I support the governor in many issues, but the governor is wrong in this issue.
Is he lying to the media when he's denying saying that to you?
Let me say this to you. I am telling you the conversation that I had. I don't know the conversation he had with you all, or you might have had a conversation with someone that he hired, a spokesperson for him. But you need to talk to the governor. And no use continue the situation. He said it. He made a mistake. I think he made a mistake. I support the governor in many issues. And if you look at my record, I voted with him about 85 or 86% of the time. I think he's a good man. But he made a mistake in this situation. And that's the end of it.
Shauna Sanford is his communications director, and I asked her specifically about your remarks to Sheriff Prator, and here's what she had to say. Let me let you listen to it, and then you can tell us if there's anything new.
That is incorrect.
Incorrect.
I heard that is totally incorrect. I want to be very, very clear about that. That is not a correct statement at all. We spoke to the governor about this, and he made it very clear that that is not the exchange that happened between the two of them. They had a very wide-ranging conversation when Senator Tarver brought up this whole issue of Sheriff Prator opposing criminal justice reform and wanting to know if that would prevent or had anything to do with preventing Carolyn Prator from taking that position. The governor made it very clear that one didn't have anything to do with the other.
Strongly disagree with that?
Well, let me say this to you. She's a hired hand. I don't even know her, to be honest with you. They changed so many times down there. And I'm not going to sit up here and even deal with what she says. I know what was said on the telephone. I said and repeated what was said on the telephone, and that's the end of it as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to change today or next year. I'm going to tell the same truth. I'm not going to change. I don't care who calls.
You take issue with, I think you would tell me this, with any politician going after someone's wife or kids, right?
Well, let me say this to you. I have never done that. I will never do that because I don't think it's fair. If I have a beef against someone politically, I will attack that individual. I don't have a problem with that. But I will never attack someone's family, wife, or children. I just don't do things like that. Now, I can't tell you what other people do. I only can tell you about Greg Tarver. I've never done it. You can ask in my political career of 32 years. I've never done it. I never will do it.
But do you think
he got the answer for himself? I cannot answer for him.
But you think that's what the governor, in your mind, according to you, that's what the governor said he did?
Well, I've said what he said. I'm not going to change. I don't care who calls in.
Is he lying about you? Does that bother you a little?
Let me tell you something. I've been in this game a long time. A lot of people have lied about a lot of things. I can't deal with what they do. I only can deal with what Greg Tarver do. I will never tell a story like that whatsoever. He have to answer for that. I have to answer for mine.
Do you, Mr. Gregg, do you anticipate that this could cause a further rift First of all, do you think there's a rift between you and the governor right now? And do you think this could cause
so.
problems down the line?
If you look at my record, the governor asked me to support issues. I probably supported between 80 and 90% of everything he asked for, because the things that he's asked for was right. He's had a hard time being governor. When he came in here, we came with a big deficit. He worked very hard, and I think he's been been good in working with the legislature and trying to get something done for Louisiana.
Now, assuming for the moment,
I'm not going to sit up here and let this one issue deal with the other issues, overshadow the other issues, because I think he's been doing a good job.
You are not a vindictive man. Are you at ease? Are you at peace knowing the governor is not a vindictive man either?
Well, now, let me tell you something. I can only answer for Greg Tarver. I can't answer for you or no one else.
Greg, I'm sorry, I'm calling you Greg. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, I don't have no problem with that.
That
was my mother named me.
You're a Shreveport guy. Do you feel like, I mean, the big picture of this is we only have 2 representatives on the Red River Waterway Commission from Caddo Parish, and we fund over 40%. Do you feel like our area is now underrepresented?
Yes, I do.
And how can we change that?
Well, if we cannot change it, the governor can change it. He can name someone else. Something needs to be done. But the problem we have is nothing wrong with the system. It's just a person was not appointed from Caddo. There should have been a person appointed from Caddo. If Mrs. Prator was not the person, it should have been someone else from Caddo.
Do you think he'll do that? Are you going to encourage him to do that?
Yes, I will encourage him to do it.
You expect him to do anything differently?
Well, I think he will. Let me say this to you and to the public, and let me say it and repeat it. I think the governor has done a good job in this state. He's had a hard time coming in. He came in with a deficit and a lot of floods. Let's look at the good deeds that he has done, and I think he's done a lot of good deeds.
Have you spoken to the governor since this misremembered conversation?
Yes, I talked to the governor.
Did this come up again at all? Is the hatchet buried?
No, as far as I'm concerned, the hatchet is buried.
He's still standing by that it didn't happen, and you still disagree.
And you haven't discussed this again.
Let me tell you. I said it before. I'm not going to change what I said. Today or tomorrow,